Good morning, everybody. I am your grateful neighborhood addict named Connor, and this is today's Daily Reflection. July 6th, Identifying Fear. The chief activator of our defects has been self-centered fear. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 76. When I feel uncomfortable, irritated, or depressed, I look for fear. This evil and corroding thread is the root of my distress. Fear of failure, fear of others' opinions, fear of harm, and many other fears. I have found a higher power who does not want me to live in fear, and, as a result, the experience of AA in my life is freedom and joy. I am no longer willing to live with the multitude of character defects that characterized my life while I was drinking. Step 7 is my vehicle to freedom from these defects. I pray for help in identifying the fear underneath the defect, and then I ask God to relieve me of that fear. This method works for me without fail and is one of the great miracles of my life in Alcoholics Anonymous. Hi everybody, I'm so grateful to be making these videos again for you guys. And I really love today's daily reflection, today's reading, because it really speaks to the root beneath the branches, right? Today's reading doesn't just talk about our defects, it talks about one of the deepest roots beneath them, which is fear. Because our character defects hide our fear, and fear can hide underneath resentment, anger, control, dishonesty, people-pleasing, that's a big one, and even addiction, for sure. Especially anger. Anger often feels powerful, while fear feels vulnerable. So we instinctively reach for anger to cover fear. And the 12 steps don't tell us to replace fear with anger, they tell us to replace fear with faith. And so step 7 isn't just asking God to remove behaviors. As we can see, it's asking him to remove what's producing those behaviors too. And I like that. I really like that model of treat the disease of addiction, not just the symptoms. So addiction is often driven by fear. Fear of pain, that one's me. Fear of withdrawal, fear of being alone, fear of feeling emotions, fear of facing life without our solution, right? Drugs and alcohol then become a kind of counterfeit answer to fear. So recovery teaches us a new solution, which is honesty, surrender, trust, and faith. Now, me personally, I'm not afraid of many things anymore. I'm not afraid of death. I know, I'm weird. I'm not afraid of failure, and I'm not afraid of what other people think. What other people think of me is none of my business. But I do recognize a few fears that still have power over me. Stranger danger for my PTSD, that's one I experience almost on a daily basis. I'm constantly scanning every room that I'm in. Is this somebody that hurt me? Does this look like somebody who hurt me? Am I about to be in a situation where I have to deal with one of those people? I'm afraid of losing my mom, that's for sure. I'm afraid of the pain from living with severe depression with no way out. That's terrifying. And maybe deep down, even success. And those are the places where I still have room to grow spiritually. But when it comes to step 7, right, what is step 7? We humbly ask him to remove our shortcomings. And humility means that I can't simply will my fear away. I can recognize it, I can pray about it, I can walk through it, but ultimately I need God's grace to replace it. So fear tries to control the future, and surrender admits that I can't. And just like yesterday's reading talked about defects growing out of self-will, today's reading shows that many of those defects are watered by fear. Now when it comes to faith, one of my favorite facts in Scripture is that the phrase, "do not be afraid," appears 365 times in the Bible. One reminder for every day of the year. I don't think that's an accident. Fear and faith can't occupy the driver's seat at the same time. And so the more I trust God, the less room fear has to control my life. And that might be an easier word to digest than faith, right? Because it's more concrete. And faith is kind of this abstract word that we define for ourselves as we go through life. But trust, which is a foundational aspect of faith, feels more like an actionable word, at least to me. When I hear that word, I think, oh, okay, that's something I know how to do. But I'm still trying to figure out everything that faith means exactly. Because there's a lot of stuff underneath that umbrella, trust included. But here in this context, it all starts with trusting God. And so a message of hope for today is that fear tells us, what if everything goes wrong? And faith answers, what if God is already there? So recovery isn't about becoming fearless. It's learning to trust God more than we trust our fears. And so a quick note for the newcomer, you don't have to be fearless to recover. Most of us came in here to these halls scared, hurting, angry, or exhausted. The miracle is that recovery gives us a place to bring that fear instead of running from it, numbing it, or letting it control us. So just start with honesty, keep coming back, and let faith grow one day at a time. Don't let fear keep you away from these halls because they're amazing. And just a final note to leave you guys with, a question is, what fear might God be asking me to surrender today, and what freedom could be waiting on the other side of it? Thank you so much for listening today and for allowing me to be a part of your journey. I am your grateful neighborhood addict named Connor, and I'm wishing you another day gratefully sober. Until tomorrow.